Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so sorry that I have not posted the content in over like 3 months since like early summer. I really apologize guys, I've been super busy with a new job. In this video, I'm just going to give you guys an update on my new role and some of my recent travels I've done. I was in between jobs and I had some time off work to travel. I had at least a month off like July and August, so I used that time to figure out, a place to travel to where I haven't been. So I picked Iceland because I thought that would be a fun destination to go to. I traveled solo. That was my first time traveling alone. I was there for 4 days and 5 days, 5 days and 4 nights. And I flew out from Boston. So I flew from Raleigh, RDU to Boston, and then from Boston to Reykjavik. And from Boston to Reykjavik, it was about 4 hours. And it was an overnight flight. I'm always so anxious to arrive to my destination and excited and nervous. So I didn't get any sleep on the plane. But it was around 10 o'clock a.m. at Reykjavik when I finally arrived. And the first day I kind of just got acquainted with the city. I did a walking tour of the city during the afternoon. Like late in the afternoon, it was like around 4 p.m. Reykjavik time. And then I like passed out as soon as I got back to my hotel. I just passed out. Then the next day, I had an all-day excursion that took me to a beautiful waterfall called Skagafoss, and then I toured this glacier. It was called, I don't even know how to pronounce it, so I'm not even gonna try. But it starts with an S, and the weather was perfect. It was like 60 degrees. It was blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. And so we went to the South Iceland Glaciers after the waterfall, and then we made a stop to see. We stopped at this like farmland that had wild horses, and then from there we went to the beach actually, called Renesfigeria. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it was actually, I think they filmed some of the Game of Thrones on that beach. Apparently, that's what I researched. But it was very beautiful. It was super windy. And yeah, obviously none of us could swim because we would probably die. Anyway, I had lots of fun the second day on that long excursion. So that night I got dropped off downtown instead of my hotel. My hotel was so far away from downtown. It was like at least a 45-minute, maybe not 40, maybe about 30-minute taxi ride. And taxis in Reykjavik are super expensive. So I spent a lot of money on taxis because they don't allow Uber or Lyft in Reykjavik. So I had to pretty much use taxis to get from one place to another. And I'm not the kind of guy who likes to ride a bus, especially in a foreign city. So I know it's I should be brave, but I just did not feel comfortable riding a bus, especially by myself. If I was traveling with a family or friend or someone, then yeah, I would have been a little bit more keen on using the public transportation. But I decided just to stick with the taxi cabs throughout the trip. So anyway, the third day on that trip, I had another full-day excursion that it was called the Golden Circle Tour. So this tour started with showing us the Kyrd crater, which is a huge volcanic crater that has this big, huge pit opening, and then there was like water in the very bottom of the pit. And apparently, I think the tour guide said that the water was not hot. I think they said it was like room temperature. But that was a beautiful sight to see. And then from there, we went to the Glacier area where you could see hot springs that shoot up hot water, boiling hot water. And from there, we went to see the tectonic plates. So where the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates, where they kind of collide. That was pretty cool to see as well. And it was a little bit cloudy that day, some overcast in the sky. So I kind of hoped that it would be more, sunny or blue skies. Also on that trip, we did see one of the most beautiful waterfalls in Iceland called Gullfoss. I don't know. I know I'm probably screwing up these names. Gullfoss. It was one of the largest waterfalls in Iceland. So we saw that as well on that excursion. And it lasted about all day. I think I got back to my hotel in the evening. Then Saturday night, I went out to the club, or not even a club. It was more of they didn't really have nightclubs in Reykjavik, but they did have like very low key bars. I went to this one place that had like a rooftop on a hotel, and they were serving drinks. And actually, I was wandering around the streets of Reykjavik by myself, and I ran into this group of guys who were very friendly. It's not the safest thing to do, but I went up to them and I was like, "Hey, do you guys know any recommendations or any hot spots in Reykjavik I can explore?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're actually going to this one place. Do you want to come along?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I followed these guys. When I think back to it, I'm like, I definitely could have gotten like killed or murdered or anything could have happened. But I'm here, I'm alive. So anyway, so I had a lot of fun going out and exploring the city, exploring downtown Reykjavik. So prior to flying back to the States, I had to get COVID tested again. So I had to get tested on the way about 72 hours prior to my flight into Reykjavik, and then I had to get tested again before coming back to the United States. And so I got tested in Reykjavik the night before I was about to fly back home, and it was negative, thank God. I was freaking out because if it was positive, then I would have to quarantine and get stuck in Reykjavik, and I was supposed to start my new job the following week, so I would have been totally screwed. So I tested negative, and so I flew back home the next morning, and I got back around like midday, back to Raleigh. It was a pretty fun trip. I would totally like to revisit Iceland, but I think my next destination would actually be Greece and Turkey. I've been looking at flights already and hotel and packages and travel packages to that area because I have a travel bug, you guys. I really want to travel again. I even did Miami this summer as well. I don't think I talked to you guys about that trip. That was a trip for my best friend's birthday. That was in the end of July. So I flew to Miami in the end of July, and then I did Reykjavik in August. And then for my new job, which I started in August, same title. I'm an auditor. I'm still auditing for a different company. Loving the company. I'll have to do another separate video to tell you guys a little bit more about my work. But anyway, so I'm working with a team in Boston. So my manager, the first week I was hired, my manager asked me if I would be interested in visiting Boston to work on a project that's supporting the Boston team. And I told her, I was like, yeah, I'd totally love to visit Boston. I've never been to Boston, only for the airport. But I've never actually been able to explore the city. So I said, yeah, I'd totally be interested in going to Boston. So I actually just got back last week. And I had a blast there. I went to a club on one night. I couldn't drink too much because I was obviously working. But I didn't do any like guided tours, but I was able to get out to explore downtown by myself, just kind of walk around the city and kind of explore the parks that are nearby parks. And I went to this park I think it was called the Public Garden. It was a beautiful park, and it was the first day I arrived. It was very beautiful. It was a nice day, sunny, not too cold, not too hot. It was just like maybe about 65 degrees. Because Boston gets cold, like really cold, and that's why I would not want to live there. Anyway, I did post all my travel pictures from Iceland, Miami, and Boston on Instagram. So if you follow my Instagram, you will have access to those photos. Alright, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channels, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok again, and I will be back with some more featured content.